Hey, we're talking about Beetlejuice. Up next on Geek Out SA.
Do not attempt to adjust your YouTube video. We control the stream.
And welcome back to Geek Out SA. It's Saturday and we're having fun. We're back. And I can't say it one more time because if I say it one more time, it's going to come out.
I was wondering if you were going to try it or
Yeah.
not. You were like, should I push my luck?
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, no. It's
No.
just a movie.
It's just a movie.
It's a good movie, though. It's totally worth the watch.
Yeah. So this is another, this is a sequel to the original Beetlejuice back in 1988.
Yeah, so it's not like we've been waiting for a while for this to happen.
Yeah. We've been waiting for a while, but in between, we got a cartoon.
Yeah, and that was pretty cute, actually. I'm not going to lie. I actually liked that cartoon. So
Yeah.
I don't know what other people thought, but I thought it was pretty cute.
But in the cartoon, Beetlejuice and Lydia were friends.
Yeah.
So, it's a little bit different in this movie.
Well, I mean, you know, when you try to force somebody to marry you so that you can get back into the human world, it kind of messes up the relationship a little bit.
So Michael Keaton reprises his role as Beetlejuice. We have Winona Ryder playing Lydia.
Sorry, I'm trying to hear the sound.
Lydia Dietz. We have Jenna Ortega, so we have that kind of connection again. Because I think she's in Wednesday, isn't she?
She is Wednesday, so I'm going to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
That's going to connect to something that I talk about. Sorry, I'm just trying to fix my...
Ortega, William Dafoe.
Oh, William Dafoe is like usually the best...
William Dafoe.
It's not Dafoe?
No, it's actually not Dafoe. It's Dafoe.
Did he correct people?
He just went along with it because it's easier to say. Dafoe than Dafoe. But like when they show a clip of him of when he was first starting out, and he would say, "I'm Willem Dafoe."
Oh.
So, or Willem Dafoe. But now he's Willem Dafoe.
Sorry, my headphones keep going in and out, and I'm trying to decide if it's our microphones or if it's my headphones.
Should be your headphones.
It is. But then if they're not in, I can't tell when it's our microphones.
Yeah. So, no, this is a really good movie. If you haven't seen the trailer, go ahead and boot up Q1.
When you're all driving carpool and banging your Pilates instructors to fill the empty voids in your life, we'll see who gets the last laugh. My mom grew up here, that old house on the hill.
Wait, the ghost house? Is your mom Lydia Dietz?
Unfortunately,
She's a legend.
The living, the dead. Can they coexist?
Now's my chance.
ghosts aren't real. Only gullible people believe that kind of crap.
I can't believe I'm doing this. Beetlejuice.
I need you to help me save my daughter.
But how do I know that you're gonna keep your word?
I swear on my dead mother's soul. Days. Bob, you and the boys stand guard. Nobody gets through. Let's go, honey.
Recognize this puss.
Never seen that chick before in my life. Or Afterlife.
Are we doing this?
Beetlejuice. I'm needed upstairs. Bob, hold down the fort. Spill your guts. Who wants to go first? All right, I will. see. I'm willing to do the work.
Swear the afterlife is so random.
You're that thing from my dream.
Really more nightmare material.
Confronting the unknown, conquering your fears. There's nothing harder.
What the f? Thank you all for coming to this special occasion, but right now with like a little privacy.
So that was it. So it came back and they did it justice, I think.
Oh, I think it was fantastic. I
Yeah.
think it was everything that we were hoping that it was going to be.
Now, in that trailer we get, and then this trailer was just like a month old. This was the last trailer that they released on it. And there's a couple of parts in there that aren't worded the same way.
Yeah.
And there's one part in there that's not even in the movie at all. I'll let you see that and see if it was needed or not. But
I give up.
I don't think it was needed.
I mean,
I put in fresh batteries too, so
Okay.
we should be good on we should be good on the mics.
okay. I mean, you know, there's always things where the director's putting things in and then being asked to take them out. So
Yeah.
you just never know what's behind all of that. I don't think that it impacted the movie at all. So I don't think people should worry about it. For a movie that we've waited almost 40 years, if you think about it, it's almost been 40
Yeah.
years that we've waited for, and we thought, oh, we're never going to get it. And now we've waited so long. Now that we get it, it's been too long.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to care. They're not going to be able to do it the way they should have. And let me tell you, in the theater that we were in, the people were true fans. I mean, they were cheering, clapping, like every little gem that you get in there.
Well,
they
there was
were
a couple of
catching.
rows that really got it.
Yeah,
Yeah. That were laughing at the exact same things we were laughing at.
yeah. So,
The only thing that I had a wish for in that movie is we get about the Maitlands, about Adam and Barbara, the original ghost in the house, which in the '88 film was Adam Baldwin and Gina Davis.
Baldwin, yeah.
Alec Baldwin, yeah. So they maybe say like a 5-second little blurb of them, of why they're not there anymore.
Oh, why they're not haunting the house
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
Because
I mean,
they're not in this movie at all.
right, no. But I feel like it's good. It's better that they're not. It just wasn't necessary. I mean, I don't think people need to feel like, oh, without their ghosts there, I don't think their ghosts there would have made any sense in the context of this new movie. Like, it was
No.
better that they had just moved on. So,
But I think I feel there should have been a little more explanation than they just.
I don't know. I didn't feel like that at all. I just felt like
The only remnants of them was the model.
right, and I think the model was the important thing, right? And she just kind of says, "Hey, they used to live upstairs, and now I found a way to get them, and now they're gone." The end. And I think that was fine because we didn't really need them in this particular storyline. Sorry, I've got to take these off. It's just really distracting. I can't concentrate with that. Just going. Sorry. Wrong button. So I don't think that they're necessary. Maybe they could have had like an old picture of the two of them, like that maybe she found in their stuff, and they could have been up there like a little memorialized or something.
Yeah.
Because she did care for them in the first movie. Like, they mattered to her. So they could have had a little something extra. But I don't really think that it was necessary to have anything extra to have them in there. we don't miss anything. At least they gave them like a little nod, and they didn't act like they had never been up there. So, yeah, I don't know that it really matters. I think one of the things that I liked about this, that it just started off like really, really good, is you get to see Lydia, and she's kind of become Elvira, right? She's the mistress of the dark, but she's also like a combo ghost hunter.
Yeah.
And her show is super campy, so people don't believe her. Her own daughter doesn't believe her that she can see dead people. And then we get a scene where she's actually talking to a dead person, but you think that she's talking to like an actor that's going to be on her campy show. Like they really give us that twist where it's like, oh, it seems like she's talking to somebody who's like should be in makeup or whatever for the show for some fake scene.
And we're talking about Astrid.
No, I'm talking about Lydia at the beginning. When Lydia leaves her show, she's talking to somebody in the bathroom, and you get the sense that she's talking to somebody who's an actor, who's an actor on her fake ghost show. So you think, well, maybe Lydia doesn't see dead people, right? Maybe this is all fake, and she's just trying to capitalize on it. And then you realize it really is a ghost.
She's still seeing them.
And so she's really still seeing them, and so you're like, oh, okay. So I liked that they kind of pulled us in and tricked us in that part and made us even non-believers.
Right?
Right?
I like that they kind of like switched it around and made Astrid a non-believer. I like because I didn't want to see Wednesday again in this movie. It wouldn't have.
Right, because she's still the little goth kid, which Wednesday pretty much, was. And they did a really good job of making Astrid be a mini Lydia and take us back to that original movie, while also letting Astrid have her own personality and stuff as well.
Right.
So that was another way that they really tied us into the original movie, was they gave us Lydia again, but just in the form of Jenna Ortega, and Jenna Ortega still got to have her own personality as well.
Yeah.
So I will say that I'm really glad. I've always really liked Winona Ryder, and she struggled in her real world life. And so it's nice to see that she got it together enough that she was able to come back and act in this. And maybe that's why it took them 40 years to do the sequel, is because the main actress really struggled and couldn't even act. But it was really good. It was that nostalgia, right? To see her again, to see Michael Keaton again, even to see Catherine O'Hara is her name, right? Who's Delia?
Yeah, Delia Dietz.
To see all of them again.
But another one we don't get to see is Charles is the dad from the original one.
Right. Well, he did stuff in his real world life that is unforgivable.
Right.
And so he just doesn't get to be in the movie.
Right.
But they still have to explain his character away. And I thought they did a good job of that.
And that's where I wish they had done that with the Maitlands. They didn't do that with the Maitlands, and they could have done a little tribute like that.
I mean, I guess, but I don't feel like what they did with Charles Dietz was a tribute per se. Like it wasn't
a tribute. It was just kind of that was an explanation. But I wish there was a tribute that was done in the style that was.
Like again, I think if they had just maybe had their picture up and it had been something like she had, like I don't know, a little something to remember them by or something, that would have been okay. But I just don't think that they were integral to this story.
There's a little animation in there.
Yeah.
That kind of explains it.
Yeah.
So, I just wish they had that little animation for the Maitland. I wanted that for the Maitlands.
You wanted that, yeah. I mean, I felt like this was as pretty close to perfect as you could get.
It was pretty close, but that's it. If I'm being picky and if something I wanted in there, I would have wanted that.
No, I'm not saying that you're wrong.
Because
I'm just saying...
because Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis are still around.
And Gina Davis is one of the most fantastic. Like, for me, I just think she's fantastic as well. I think Tim Burton and
Michael Keaton.
No, Colleen Atwood, I think is her name. She does a lot of stuff for him as far as casting and things like that. I only remember because her name is Colleen, like mine. They just get it. Although Tim Burton he loves Michael Keaton, he loves Danny DeVito, he loves...
And that's another thing, we get Danny DeVito
Johnny
in this
Depp.
movie.
Yeah.
Which I didn't expect. I had no idea it was going to be in it
but
because I didn't look at the cast or anything before seeing this.
You don't expect it, but you know right away it's him. You know
From
right
behind.
away from
You're
behind
like, that's Danny
without a
DeVito.
doubt that's Danny DeVito. And you're like, if he turns around and that's not Danny DeVito, I'm done. And it's
Yeah.
like at the very beginning of the movie, and you're like, I'm
Yeah.
walking out. That's it. I'm done. No. So, but I think they just do a really good job casting.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, you know, a manager / love interest in here for Lydia. He's just as annoying, slimy, fake as you really want him to be. Like, he pulls that part off. He acts that part really well. Then we have a love interest for Jenna Ortega, for Astrid, and he's just as charming and as slithery, and he's just everything that you would want him to be.
Yeah.
And Vincent, being who Vincent is, ruins the movie for me. Because he sees the twist coming before I see the twist coming. And so in the movie, he's on. And I'm like, does he want to kiss or something in the middle of this movie? What's going on? And I've been sick. I'm like, I don't want to kiss you. And he's like, come here. And so I lean in and he tells me the twist. And I'm like, he's right. As soon as he says it, I'm like, oh, he's right. Dang it. And so
Well,
I don't want to ruin the twist for anybody, but let's just
because
say
even there was still a twist in there that I wasn't expecting.
a twist within the twist.
Yeah. Because I only told you about one part of it. I didn't tell you the whole part.
You didn't tell me about the whole part.
No, because I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Which it took me for a loop. Did you think that?
No, absolutely not. Until there's a part in there where you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like right before you kind of find out, then you're like, I don't want to spoil it for everybody because it's a pretty good nod to the old one. It's a pretty good twist. It definitely helps move the storyline along and gives us a new storyline that connects to the old storyline, so we don't feel like it's just a remake of the initial one.
Right.
Which I loved about this. Is it's a connection to the initial one, and it has a lot of gems that we want from the initial one, but it's not a remake of the initial one. It continues the storyline on, and it does it really well, in my opinion. And so this twist is very important.
And it's so different enough with Beetlejuice himself, is you expect him to say something, like if you're expecting him to say it's showtime, he doesn't say it's showtime in this movie, which you don't hate that it's not there. It's not needed. It's its own thing.
Yeah, no, because you get his attitude and everything, because he's very Beetlejuice still, you don't really need him to say that.
And then you also in this movie get a glimpse of who Beetlejuice was before he died.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that we add in a new character who has something to do with his past. And we don't know until he explains it. Sorry, I'm not feeling good. I'm trying not to sneeze or cough. And then when he explains it, it's pretty funny. It's pretty on brand for Beetlejuice. So it's like, oh, this is really who he was his entire life. It's not just who he is in his afterlife. And so it's really great to have a new antagonist in the film. And it's really funny that there is an antagonist against Beetlejuice, and you see it in the trailer. So you kind of know from the trailer that there is one. But it's funny to see that he's phased. but he's still Beetlejuice, right? Everything is still a joke. He's still a goober. He's gonna
But
turn
I
everything
feel
into
that
it.
that character should have been a lot more than that character was.
I will give you that. Yeah,
It
I will
felt,
give you that.
It felt like that character should have been more.
Yeah, it felt like they could have given us more than that. They were.
And the character's Dolores. It's Monica Bellucci.
Yeah. I guess they could have really done a whole movie just with the two of them. And just with the two of them and Lydia.
Yeah.
But I guess they wanted something that would bring in the younger audiences that maybe had never seen Beetlejuice, something that would connect them. And of course, if you're going to do something like that, Jenna Ortega is the one to do because she's very hot still right now after Wednesday, and a lot of the kids liked her. So I understand why they did that. They are trying to run two storylines basically at the same time and interweave them.
I feel like somewhere there's a director's cut that's a lot longer.
A lot longer. That's got
That explains
more of,
stuff more.
More of Dolores. I thought they did a good job though of cutting it down and showing us who she is to Beetlejuice, why she's hunting for him, why she's angry with him. It's hard. It's a balance, right? And I think that they did pretty good balancing it, but they could have done better.
Yeah.
They could have done better. Because I feel like the Astrid storyline, they balanced it pretty well. We got just enough of what we wanted in the storyline that we were able to get that to fruition. There was a point where it could have been longer. I'm trying to say this delicately without giving anything away. Never mind. There's a point in Astrid's story where there's something happening and she's in the afterlife, and it happens kind of quickly, and it's funny that it happens kind of quickly. But also it could have stretched out longer, I guess. Does that make sense? Like that character could have had something besides just that. That makes sense?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say
Yeah.
without giving anything away? Yeah. So we don't want to, it just came out, so we don't want to like crush it for y'all because there's some pretty good
There's
surprises.
enough of that, but then
Again,
there could be more.
yeah, if we wanted to be picky about the movie,
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things is because they were running two storylines simultaneously, they probably should have given each one a little bit more attention. This could have been one of those 3-hour movies, and I don't think we would have minded.
Right.
So if they are going to come out with a director's cut, and
Because
Tim
really,
Burton's-
no, it's really more than 2 stories. It's 3. It's 3. It's with Beetlejuice. It's with Lydia going after Astrid, and then that one.
Yeah, but I thought they did a good job interweaving the storyline of Lydia and Astrid and why.
But yeah, but
Obviously.
that was its own story. But
Yeah, but I don't think that one needed any more time. They gave us enough time. We don't want, like, for me, I don't want this whole long storyline of whiny teenager, right? We get enough of, like, teenage angst. I hate my mom. Like, mom is trying to win me back. That's a very tropey storyline.
right.
So I think we get enough of that tropey storyline to that one got enough view time. It got enough time in the movie, basically. I think the other 2 storylines are the ones that could have been given more time and more care. I thought this one with Astrid got more time than this one with Beetlejuice. It was developed to a bigger fruition than the one with Beetlejuice was developed.
And to let y'all know, we do get to hear Banana Boat.
So freaking funny,
Yeah.
too. Funny. And it doesn't end up being in the place you think it's going to end up
No.
being, which, again, I don't want to ruin it because it's so funny when we hear it. It just cracks you up. Like, you laugh out loud in the theater. It's that kind of funny. Like, So it's good that they bring that. Again, we get a singing number, we get a dancing number, and it is nice to see Jenna. You see her in the trailer a little bit, and she's dancing. And we've gotten that from her from Wednesday. So it was a good combination for her. Because we want to see a singing, dancing, like Beetlejuice is the puppeteer kind of thing in Beetlejuice. That's one of the things that we really like about the original.
Yeah.
So give us this one. Give us Jenna dancing. So give us that connection between the two.
But it's not with Banana Boat.
No, it's not.
It's with something else.
Yes, and it's hilarious, and it's perfect. I mean, it's the perfect song. They choreographed it perfectly. Everything about it is perfect. It's wonderful. But in that number, in that scene, Willem Dafoe, I'm never gonna get used to that. He's Willem Dafoe.
Well, there's a reason for that.
He's not a bad guy. In fact, he's a derpy guy, and so he's in that scene. But tell me how you felt about the very odd wax figure that they had of him
What do you mean?
when he's frozen.
Uh-huh.
Instead of him just being there frozen, like instead of them just doing some scenes where he's there frozen, why did they give us the weird...
Well, maybe he did want to do that.
Right, and when you're that old and rich and famous, you don't have to do crap you don't want to do.
Yeah.
It was just weird.
Yeah.
Like everybody else is frozen, and he's like, obviously he's like a Madame Tussauds like wax figure or something. It was just odd. That was the only thing that kind of sort of threw me off. I was like,
that was a little weird.
I was like, why? Why is he a wax figure? And the thing is they show it for a good amount of time. Like, the priest is over there by it, and they're, like, showing it on camera. And I'm like, why are we focusing on this so much?
There's got to be a reason for it.
There's got to be a reason.
And it's probably explained in the director's cut somewhere.
Or maybe Tim is just a freaking weirdo anyway. So maybe he just did it, and it just tickled him. I never know. I just never know.
Because he likes it. Maybe it was his little adding, like, claymation into that scene.
Maybe. I don't know. It was a little odd. But aside from that, there really isn't anything. And I'm usually really picky about movies. And so there wasn't anything that made me think this could have made it better, that could have made it better. And maybe I'm biased because I love a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah.
I mean...
And I wish there was kind of something that came from the cartoon, too.
Oh, you do?
But I guess that wasn't Tim Burton's thing, was it?
I don't think so. I don't know. I just remember, like, seeing it, like, watching it and thinking it was funny. But it's not... I don't know if there's any connection. There is... So we took my mom to go see it. My mom is 75. And so obviously, you know, I saw it with her in 1988 because I'm still a teenager. I'm old, but I'm still a teenager in 1988, okay, people? And so I've seen it with my mom, right? So we're like, oh, let's bring your mom with us and she loves Michael Keaton. Like, she and I have watched, you know, Parenthood and Gung Ho and
Mr.
Birdman and yeah, love Michael Keaton. And then she was like, I even liked Michael Keaton as Tim Burton's Batman. She's very indignant about everything, right? When you get old, you're like that. So at the end of the movie, I'm like, oh, did you like it, Mom, or whatever? And she's like, I really liked everything about it except the creepy baby. She's like, that kind of scared me. So it's not scary. It's not meant to be scary. It's a comedy.
It's supposed to be funny. Yeah.
It's funny. And to me, there's a creepy baby in it. And it's freaking hilarious. Like, I cracked up and cracked up. It's so on brand. It's so funny. It's so like that. I don't know, this movie gave me 1980s, right? It still was true to that. Like, we even still get, because they could have totally fixed this, we even still get really horrible sandworm animation. Like, it's just awful. It's the worst, right? You get the Dune-esque scene, which they're there in the sand, which is great and funny. And they escape, but then the sandworm comes back again. But we see the sandworm 2 really good times. Yeah. And it's horrible both times. Like, the animation is just awful. It's the absolute worst. And you want it to be that way, right? Yeah. You don't want them to clean it up. You don't want it to be modern and better. You want it to look like that. Like the original. Yeah. We get the original red dress, which is fantastic. There's just so many things. Like, we get the look down into the model, the Beetlejuice flashing sign. Like, there's so many things that we get in there, and we get it well, right? It's with purpose. It's purposeful. It's tied together with purpose. So I really, like, this is one of those movies like Deadpool and Wolverine that I will probably go see again. Yeah. Because I liked it that much. And it's so worth it. It's so worth seeing. And there's little bitty things in there, and some of them you just see really kind of quickly. Yeah. So it would be good to see it another time to get to, because now your brain knows it's there. Yeah. And to get to kind of hone in.
But if you go, you need to make sure you don't drink anything.
Because it's real trippy.
No. So you don't have to get up to go to the bathroom.
Or are you making fun of me? You know, in my defense, when I'm sick like this, I have to go to the bathroom a lot. And I already have to go to the bathroom a lot. So he's making fun of me. Let me tell you a little side story. I went to the bathroom before the movie started. Then, in the midst of the movie, I don't want to go to the bathroom, but I'm dying. I'm like, I've had to sit up my recliner chair because I'm dying, and I'm like, I can't sit through the rest of, there's like a lot of this movie left to go. So I run out to go to the bathroom. The movie next door has let out, but I thought, I'll walk really fast. I have long legs. I'll get ahead of all these people. I'll get to the bathroom. No, get to the bathroom. 2 of the stalls have no toilet paper, so there's a line. I'm like, oh, heck no. So I run back down the hall. And then I'm standing in the back of the theater, like doing the pee-pee dance, watching the movie because I don't want to miss anything. And I'm like...
Oh, good. So you were there.
Yeah, yeah.
So you didn't miss all of it.
No. And so then...
Because I was like, she's gone for a long time.
Yeah. So then, of course, we're in the movie. And since I've been sick, my mom leans over and she's like... Because moms. And she's like, are you okay? Did you have diarrhea? I'm like, dear God, no. I ran down. I went to the bathroom. It was full. I ran back. I stood in the back and did my pee-wee dance and watched like 10 minutes of the movie. And I was like, God, I hope the people are all gone. Then I ran back out, ran back down to the bathroom.
Why didn't you go to the other bathroom?
I didn't want to miss too much. The other bathroom's way further. I don't know.
They're equal distance.
That was just what worked in my mind. And then, side embarrassing note, I have to go to one of the bathrooms that has no toilet paper because I'm dying, and I've been down there twice already. So I literally, this is terrible. I don't know why I'm telling the whole world this, but only a few people will watch anyway. I literally get the seat cover thing because I know they flush, and I wad it up and crinkle it so it's a little bit soft, and I use that as toilet. So that's my...
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
That's my mid-movie story. And that's why Vincent says don't drink anything, because
don't drink anything.
There is really, he's not like lying though. There's so much going on in this movie. Like, you really can't miss any of it. Like, obviously you're gonna know what happened. Yeah. But you don't want to miss any of it. Like, every piece of it is important. There's very few pieces that are downtime where you're like, man, I wish we could get through this piece, right? So you definitely don't want to miss that at all. Sorry. I wanted to say one more thing. My voice is starting to get a little crunchy. One of the things that I love, one of the other things that I love about Tim Burton movies is Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman is was the front singer for Oingo Boingo. So I grew up in that time as well, where Oingo Boingo was pretty big. Only a Lad, Dead Man's Party, Little Girls, like all iconic songs that we really liked back then. And so then we've seen him take this kind of style of music and this kind of eerie, punky, poppy music into all of Tim Burton's movies. I definitely, obviously, I love all the songs from Nightmare Before Christmas, which is a Tim Burton, Danny Elfman movie. So it was nice that here he is with Danny again, and Danny's doing that score for the movie. And because you can tell, like, if you've ever seen a movie without the score is super important and really integral to how you feel about the movie. Right. And
Danny Elfman can score a movie.
And he brings us back. That's another way they tie us back to the original movie, is he brings us that score from the original movie, but it's updated.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different.
A little bit different.
There's enough of a difference that you know that this is a new movie, but it's also close enough to the original that you know that there's a connection to the original movie. So that's something that I very much loved about this too, is just that Danny Elfman moment.
Yeah.
So, and it was nice to see his name up there. I don't know. I think it's cool.
But it's weird how much loyalty all these actors have to Tim Burton. Because the reason that Michael Keaton didn't do Batman 3 is because Tim Burton, he wouldn't do it unless Tim Burton was the director.
And Tim Burton seems like such an odd guy.
Yeah.
But he's clearly a genius when it comes to this style of film, when it comes to this genre. I mean, when you're thinking Edward Scissorhands, when you're thinking Sweeney Todd, when you're thinking Mars Attacks.
He's got really weird poetry, but he can do a movie.
Yeah. Well, even his movies are really weird. I mean, if you think about it, it's,
Well, his poetry isn't very good.
Well, I mean, poetry's in the eye of the beholder. So.
Yeah.
His drawings are not great either, but...
No. But he has people with him that can make that work.
Yeah, and I wonder if these actors are loyal to him because he is a creative genius and because it's something special to be part of these worlds that he creates. I don't know. I've never met them.
Because I always wanted to see the Superman with Nicolas Cage, to see what that would have been like.
I love Tim Burton, but that may have been his one misstep. I don't think Nick Cage.
We never saw it.
Well, true.
We never saw it.
And I will say that Nick Cage is not a bad actor. I mean, my youngest son is named after Nicolas Cage because I was watching Face Off when I was giving birth to him. So.
Because in this one, it was a Superman that had long hair in the comics. And that Superman, Nicolas Cage in it did have long hair.
Yeah. I remember we watched that about that, but I don't remember why it never came to fruition. I've forgotten. What are you doing, buddy?
I think it was something about who's the guy that did Wild Wild West? Because they wanted a giant robotic spider.
Oh, really?
In it. Whoever did that, that's what they wanted in there, and they didn't want to do it because I think who worked on it, Kevin Smith was going to work as writing on that movie.
Oh, really? Yeah. I don't know. Tim Burton's done enough. We don't need to see that. So.
Because I didn't think we were going to see another Tim Burton movie ever again. Because I thought he wasn't going to make movies anymore.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. And then and then once we found out about this Beetlejuice, I was just like, oh, because he was kind of getting tired of all the business side of it
and the politics behind it, and yeah, I get that.
You just want to give him a movie and then watch him do it.
Yeah, I mean,
because he did great with Batman.
I feel like at this point he's earned that, right?
Yeah.
He's done enough that, and this movie really shows that he understands storytelling. He understands how to connect things to one another. He understands who needs to be in the story.
Even the way it was cut. Because even though it was, I felt there could have been those added places where it still made sense how he cut it to work with the whole story. And be short enough that people will sit through it.
And I think one other thing that we need to give a nod to is the way they did the makeup. Because obviously Michael Keaton is much older. I mean, we're looking at somebody who's almost 40 years older, you know. And Winona, okay, she was a teenager. So obviously we're expecting her to have aged and grown. But Beetlejuice is dead already, so we don't expect him to have aged,
right?
Because you don't age in the afterlife, pretty much. So they did a really good job matching back the original makeup. And of course, if you're looking
well, they
for
probably
it,
yeah. If you're looking for it, you'll see it. But I think they just kind of they didn't have to do as much to age him in this one as they had to in the original.
Right. And they did enough, like, I think, blending in some of the places. Because as you get older, obviously, you get lines around your eyes and your mouth and things. Yeah. So they did enough to, like, blend that it's very believable that he's in the same place that he was before. The teeth, you know, all the Beetlejuice things. And then we get some of that campy stuff, and you see it in the trailer, where he's like, oh, you want to spill your guts, when he's pretending to be the therapist and he opens himself up and all of his guts fall out. So I think that if you haven't seen Beetlejuice in a long time, I think one of the things to do would be, again, to watch it ahead of time. This is one of the things that I recommend all the time. Watch it ahead of time before you go to this one. And it's not that you need it, because if you've seen it, you remember it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny. It's kind of fun, I guess, to see what it was like originally and to see what homages they do in this sequel to the original one.
And we haven't done that. We didn't do that. But it's so memorable with us. We know, like, every single second of that other movie.
Yeah, we've seen that other one a lot of times. So, because there's even like, if you saw in the trailer, there's even the nod to when they have Barbara stretch out her face, Gina Davis, like, their faces are stretched out.
Oh,
and everything.
that's when Alec Baldwin does it.
Yeah, Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
And then then in this one they pull the people's faces out, because he pulls the influencers into their phones and, like, locks them in there, which they totally deserve. Forget an influencer. No. So even that's a nod if you're, like, paying attention to it. But overall, I thought this was a fantastic movie.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, definitely go see it. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun from beginning to end. That's all I had. But if you hadn't subscribed, click on that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so next time we go live, you'll know. But thanks for checking us out. I'm Vince.
And I'm Colleen.
Geek out this day.